Hi Gracelyn, welcome to your piano lesson. So I'm going to cover the songs that you did in the same order that they were put up. First one was the Mob Bop, then All That Glitters, and then the new one that you started, Dreamer's Nightfall. So the very first thing that I'm going to suggest for the Mob Bop is to work with some fun apps with it, because you have all of the notes down, you know where you're going and what you're doing. And I think that it would be more fun to actually play with some rhythm tracks. What I did was I went and found a free app called Loops, Drum Loops, and it's Loopz. There were a whole bunch of them up there. It was the first one listed that was free, and it had like a 4.8 rating. And I downloaded that, and one of the very first rhythms on it is called the Funky 16th Straight. It sounds like this. And on the app, you can turn the volume down or up. My speaker over here, I can make it a little louder. And then you can also change the tempo. But this is obviously too fast. So I'm going to slow it down to about 88, and we'll see how it goes. Tap, tap, clap, tap, tap, clap, tap, tap, clap, and here we go. All right, so that gives us an idea. I forgot to push this all the way over here, so I was missing my second page. I think that might even be too fast. We'll try. That is 82. 1, 2, ready, and. Up there. So you can find some different looping drum beats, and that's what they call the drum beats that just are repetitive over and over again. They loop, and find some that are in 4/4 time that are kind of have that rock sound to it, and practice. Try it some different tempos. Maybe you want to try it at a faster tempo. I think it could even go slower than what I just did and still really rock, like bum bum. We will rock you, bump, jump, bump, bump. So it could even go slower, and you could pull it off with real attitude in your playing. But that would really cement your memory work, and it would really cement where you're jumping to and where you're playing, because it won't let you slow down when you maybe hesitate to get to the next spot. It's unforgiving. It's just going to keep going. Makes you really think ahead. So that's a great way to practice that. I told Dean we're going to have some group meetups, in the next, we have 8 lessons left. 6 of them will be either video lessons or they will be live Google Duo. And then 2 of them are going to be group lessons where several students will all come to the same time and you guys will perform for each other and it will be a lot of fun. So this is definitely one of them I would like you to play, and if you have the technology to be able to play, I was just casting a drum loop on a Bluetooth speaker. So the speaker was louder. I don't know if you have anything like that, or you can just play it off of an iPad or a tablet or even a different phone or a computer than what you would be using for the Google Live. Okay, All That Glitters. I just have to say you're really prepared for that song. You have that song down really well, and now it'll just be a process of when you're working with a duet partner who's not a teacher, who can, as a teacher, if students make a mistake, I know how to kind of stop and wait for them or encouraging them to keep moving ahead. And when 2 students are playing together, it's a little bit more difficult for the 2 to stay together. And mostly, I think Dane's got his notes working out, but I gave him a lesson to help make things stronger for him, but it just takes really practicing. And practice 1 line or 1 passage, 2 lines over and over and over till you both got it really solid. And then, so don't just do the whole song, take it in real small bits. When I was in high school, I played piano duets for solo and ensemble every year with other students. And we tried to practice every single day together before school, after school, over our lunch break, during a mutual study hall. We just practiced and practiced and practiced because it just takes knowing what is happening through the song. And there would be sections that were harder than others, and we would really work on those sections that were harder. And so I think the bottom of towards the bottom of the page where you actually are doing the A position, the G position, and the F position, so you're moving a little bit more, that section might need extra practice. So I might recommend starting at measure 17 and doing those last 2 lines. And then again, at the end of the second page, maybe start at measure 33 and practice to the end because it does something different than what the rest of the song is. But you seem to be really set with that and have kind of perfected that piece, so that's really awesome. Good work on that one. And then Dreamer's Nightfall, you played the first page for me. It was really beautiful. And I think we haven't really talked much about the pedaling in this piece. So if I were to tell you how often you should pedal, this song is, let's see, it's in cut time. And I'm not sure we've ever talked about this, but you might have had this in band because a lot of band music's in cut time. You see right here where it has this C with a line through it. That's kind of looks like a cents sign, like 50 cents. Common time is 4/4. Cut time is like feeling 2 beats to a measure, 2/2, so 2 half notes. I'm just gonna write on this. Normally, the regular C for common time would be 4/4. Cut time is like cutting it in half, so it's 2/2. So there's 2, and this 2 means half notes. 2 half notes per measure. So you have 1, 2, and 1, 2. 1, 2, and 1, 2. So it feels just like 4/4, but in 4/4 we really feel that 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in this song, we want to feel more of a 1, 2, 1, 2. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. We want to feel this at a little bit faster tempo. Oh.
Battery 60%.
I guess I hit the Chromebook. so we'll get rid of that for now. Okay, so Dreamer's Nightfall is going to feel 2 beats in a measure, and it says with pedal, and I wanted to find out from you, how frequently do you think you should pedal? So look at the first line, which is the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 measures are our introduction. And do you see that we have tied whole notes? Tied whole notes. Tied whole notes. So I would recommend maybe holding through those first 2 measures and then 2 measures again. Let's just see what that would sound like if we pedaled every 2 measures. If the teacher looks at the key signature, right? All the B's are flat. So what did you think? Did you like that? Here's every 2 measures one more time. I'll play it without making a mistake. Sometimes I might want to have it cleaner. Like pedaling every measure would be. I like that too, but I think, let's think about night falling and when the sky is changing colors. Maybe it's not quite so easy to see when it's starting to get dark out. And maybe it would sound really more like a nightfall if we pedaled every 2 measures there. And then when we go on in measure 9, I think it sounds really beautiful if we pedal and hold for those 2 measures, and then that's all 1, and then that whole first page, I would vote pedal every 2 measures. So a little up X, O and X. This is how I would mark it. And even if you only mark it at the beginning of your song so you know what you're doing, O is up, X is down, and then line. And then after the introduction, this is where the melody starts. And do that again right there. So you remember that we're going to do every 2 measures. But what happens on the next page? At measure 25, right there, do you see that the left hand is going to start changing its chord every measure? So I think it's going to be important on the next page to pedal every measure. And I know you're working out the notes for that part. That little section right there on page 2 just really speaks to me. I think it's the most beautiful little melody. I love the chord progression in the left hand. Let's just play the left hand and make sure that everything makes sense. So we have a G, D, F, then, and I'm playing fingers 5, 2, and 1. And I'm going to keep using those fingers, by the way. They're going to be the favorite. Then we start on C, C, G, B flat, and again, pattern starting on F. F, C, E, and that's 5, 2, 1, and then we have a rest and E, A. I don't move any fingers there because they're already right in the spot. So the chord before it is at F, C, E, rest, E, F. Did I say the right letters? F, C, E, rest, F, A. Now our hand moves down just a step. E, B flat, D. And I'm using 5, 2, 1. But now watch this. You can just squish finger 3 in by that B flat and play A, C sharp, E. And I'm using finger 3, 2, and 1. So I'm hardly moving anything. I have on that note right before it. So we're at measure 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Measure 29, we have the E, B flat, D on 5, 2, 1. Then put finger 3 on the next note, A. Slide finger 2 onto the C sharp and finger 1 on E. Go ahead and write all these fingers, like go back and review this and write your fingering in, right underneath the notes, really small, just as a reminder. And then we end with a D chord. And that D chord you can use finger 5 and 2. You don't have to move your hand all the way down. Then we repeat. Same fingers, same notes. That makes it easy, right? And now this one changes. B flat, F, A, but it's still the same fingering. 5, 2, 1, and here's question 3, 2, 1, and our D chord. Figuring out the left hand is so important so you develop that muscle memory. It's just like doing gymnastics. You don't do a cartwheel 100 different ways. Every time you do a cartwheel, you are looking for the most perfect cartwheel that you can physically do, and then you do it over and over and over and over. And it's the same with fingering, especially for the left hand. Now that you're moving into intermediate music, your hand's always going to be stretching and reaching farther and doing these arpeggiated chords, and finger 5, 2, and 1, but that's the pattern you're going to just use over and over and over again. So once your fingers get used to it, it's going to feel great. You get to work on that. I'm really excited to hear what other progress you make on it, and definitely I'd like you to keep working on this piece so that you have it to perform at one of our group meetups coming up in the near future. So have a great spring break. Spend a lot of time practicing. Yay, we can do lots of music even though everything's crazy, right? So stay safe, stay healthy, and I will be in touch with you again soon.